So we've created this idea. It consists of 3 scenes, and we are going to listen to each instrument and see how we can process it, make it sound a little better. So let's listen to the first scene. Immediately the bass stands out as being a little too aggressive sounding, so I'm going to go to the audio effects. I'm going to start with a compressor and an EQ8. Just going to roll off some of the high end. Put a compressor on, lower the threshold on the compressor rather, and the ratio. So that sounds good. Let's put a gate on that. That's tighter sounding. Let's listen to that with the guitar. So the guitar sounds good the way it is. Maybe a little reverb. So I'm actually going to send onto the reverb send track, which should be set up in your default song auxiliary track. So let's play that. Go lower the decay time. Good. So the next stage would be to get some sort of a drum groove going. The simplest way to do that is to find yourself a drum loop and manipulate that. So let's go to our browser. If you guys aren't familiar with the browser, this is where you're going to find kind of a bird's eye view of your hard drive, your instruments, your audio effects. All the sounds that come with an Ableton will be featured here. We're going to find ourselves a loop. We're going to go to our places down here and to this section here that says packs. And I kind of went through them already and selected a drum loop that I think will work. But just so that you know, if you press playback and you start listening to some of the loops that you have in there, every one of them is going to play in synchronization to your track. So let's listen to that. So that's one. So once you select the loop that you like, and I'm just going to use the first one, which is this one here. There are 2 ways that we can approach this. We can drag this loop right onto an audio track, simply press play. And that can work, but let's say you wanted to add some variations and give it some life. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Command Z and undo that. And instead, I'm going to right click or control click, and you're going to see that menu pop up there. And what I need to select is called Slice to New MIDI Track. So let's do that. So it's another window is going to come up, and it's going to ask you if you should create a slice per transient or per bar or half note, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to use the transient one. And what it's going to do, it's going to take that drum loop and it's going to slice it up for you and provide it for you on a brand new track ready to be played back. Good. So if we double click that, we're going to see its MIDI notes within there. These MIDI notes all pertain to each particular slice. So if we turn on the MIDI editor preview button, then we can actually click on these MIDI notes and listen to each slice that is being addressed. So what I need to do is find the snare that I like, in which case that snare sounds fine. I don't want that drum fill at the end just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten the bracket here to 2 and play that. So once again, we found our snare, and we're going to copy that snare using Option, Drag, and just place it in different places. Having done that, you've created a different kind of vibe to the same drum beat. So we have that going. Something else I want to teach you guys is we're going to double click on the track to show the actual drum rack. This is what the slicing of the beat actually looks like. It gets sliced up into what is called a drum rack, and each one of these pads can be played independently. What I want to do is actually tighten up this drum groove a little. I'm going to solo that, and I am going to mess with the decay and the sustain. Let's listen to that. Really tighten that up. All right, so I'm actually going to put a compressor after that, and it's going to be present everywhere, thanks to the compressor. Let's listen to that with the bass. Maybe that's a little too tight, so we're going to release it a little. You can also kind of manipulate the sound of the room a little bit, and we're going to do that by automating that decay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually Option copy that drum groove, and I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to go to the envelopes box, and you access that by pressing that E button right there. And you're going to see these orange rubber bands will come alive. This drop-down menu will determine what rubber band is selected at the time. And something that's really cool in Ableton is that the last thing that you selected will be the thing that becomes available in these rubber bands. So you have to worry about that. All you got to do is select what you want to manipulate, or click on it rather, and then go back to these rubber bands, and there they are. So let's listen to that drum groove and tighten it up. Now let's listen to the second groove and take that and loosen it up a little. First groove now. So we're giving the illusion that the drummer is doing something else. So this is our first scene with the tighter drum groove. Just gonna turn that guitar down a little, it's obnoxious. Our second scene is gonna have the looser groove. Picked it up a little bit. Now for our third scene, I would like to bring in a different loop. I noticed that we have another loop here, and it's got 16 beats. Let's hear that. On the hi-hats, which of course will really give it some life. So we're gonna once again control slice to new MIDI track and use the built-in detection. Hear what that sounds like with the third scene. Go back to the first one. Let's listen to our scenes once again. Scene 2. Scene 3. And our final scene. So our final scene just needs a kick. So what we're going to do is copy the first drum groove onto that last one, double click on that, and we're going to erase every note except for that kick, right? So now let's listen to that final hit once again. There it is. You might want to also disengage the loop bracket as well, the loop button. So we have just the end. In our next video, we would like to take these scenes and perform them on the other side of Ableton, which is arrange mode, and this is where we're going to finish our song. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.